Here it is, you guys. 100 days in master mode. There were so many of you who wanted me to do it, so I just had to. And as you can already tell by the intro, yeah, I'm definitely going to be having a hard time with this difficulty. Nonetheless, it was still a very fun video to make. I would appreciate it if you guys would drop a like, comment, and maybe even consider subscribing to the channel if you guys like the content. And yeah, thanks guys, let's get on with the video. So like always, I'll be choosing a medium-sized world with a random corruption or crimson biome since I already experienced both from my past videos, so it doesn't really matter which one I get. On day 1, I do the usual. Chop down some trees for wood and immediately find a desert for some quick cacti armor and sword. I then ventured towards the left side of the world and found a jungle. I had to hold myself up since I was very close on getting my first death. I kept going left because I wanted what was inside that chest. It was getting dark soon, so I teleported back and started building a house right on top of a tree so that mobs on the ground won't be able to reach me and I'd only have to deal with those that could fly. On day 2, I traveled to the right to look for a nearby cave for some basic minerals like iron and gold, and if I'm lucky enough, hopefully I can find some accessories and better weapons. I found an ice blade, which is a really nice weapon to have early on since it has auto swing and can also shoot projectiles. A little after, I found a minecart trail and decided to ride it, but it led me right to an undead Viking and unfortunately this marked my first death. After I respawned, I decided to finish building my house. On day 3, I made a sapphire hook and then started mining towards hell, but having the heavy modifier on my tungsten pickaxe made mining very slow and I only made it to about 1/5 of the way there. I traveled right all the way to the ocean to unlock the angler to start doing some fishing quests, and I also made a new friend, but our friendship didn't last very long. I also found this to be pretty cool. Wearing an inner tube underwater will shoot you all the way up into the sky. Afterwards, I went back home and built more houses for more NPCs to spawn. Building the first house, it reminded me of the Ewok village in Star Wars, so I decided to go with that. I then continued with the elevator and I also found some pretty useful accessories like the magic mirror and the lucky horseshoe. On day 5, I realized I messed up on the houses and I wanted it to be symmetric, so I had to remake them. As I was rebuilding, the blood moon started and I wanted to try my luck at getting the money trophy, but that didn't happen. These guys did over 70 damage to me, so I basically got 2-shotted. Day 6, I built some more, but obviously I messed up again because I suck at building. And then another blood moon started, but this time I actually got the money trophy. On day 7, I went down the elevator to mine some more, and also looked for some life crystals. I found some gold ore and I went to mine it, but I didn't see the pressure plate in the water, so I accidentally stepped on it and a boulder fell on top of me. After respawning, I made a full set of tungsten armor, which is a pretty nice upgrade from the cacti armor. Going into day 8, I did some fishing underground. It took a while, but I finally got what I needed. It was about time I fought the Eye of Cthulhu, and I needed some more health, so I mined some life crystals and got my max health to 300. On day 10, I finished mining all the way to hell. I killed a demon and got a voodoo doll to summon Wall of Flesh, but I wasn't paying attention and got killed by a hellbat. After respawning, I made a quick platform to fight the boss. I also had the nurse on the right side just in case I needed to heal. I then bought 4 stacks of grenades. I wasn't really sure how many I needed, but it's always better to have more than less. I used grenades on the boss and then switching to the ice blade to kill off its minions. I only used grenades on the minions when it was safe to do so. I didn't really notice any difference when fighting the boss, it just felt like it had more health. I drank a gravitation potion for the boss fight, but I ended up not using it, so I explored the sky with the remaining time it had left. I found a sky island with a shiny red balloon that increases jump height. I did some fishing on day 11, but I couldn't find the fish I needed. I was only getting tin cans, shoes, and seaweed, so I decided to move spots. Almost immediately, I got the quest fish. After fishing, I went to the left side to the corruption biome. I decided I was going to kill the Eater of Worlds, so I made an underground arena. But this was a mistake. It was way too cramped and the movement of the boss seemed like it was able to track me a lot better. I took way too much damage early on since it trapped me around its body, and throwing grenades at it in this tight space wasn't such a good idea. I barely made a dent and ended up grenading myself. On day 12, after I got back, a goblin invasion started. Here's a good example of why building a house in mid-air is a good idea because you're able to kill monsters on the ground without them even touching you, but I did have to deal with the goblin sorcerers. After the invasion, I went back to the corruption and this time I built an arena above the surface. It was annoying since there were so many monsters spawning and attacking me. After breaking the last orb, I tried going up as fast as possible, but the boss cut me off and did a lot of damage before I made it all the way up. I'm not gonna lie, this boss was starting to piss me off. When I reached the surface, I noticed that it spat a lot of bile. I also realized it had a resistance to explosives. This time I tried using a bow with jester arrows and it did a lot more damage, but I still died. I fought it again using the nurse this time. I ran out of jester arrows and then out of hellfire arrows, so I had to use the regular ones, so the fight took a lot longer than expected. Opening the reward pouch gave a worm scarf that reduces damage by 17%, one of the more useful accessories in my opinion. After a long and gruesome fight with the Eater of Worlds, I took a little break and did some fishing. I also decided to finish making another house. I didn't know how many I was going to make, but let's just say until I was satisfied. As I was finishing, I noticed a meteorite in the background. When the meteorite landed, I went to go find it. I went left and found it in the jungle. I mined a quarter of the meteorite, but I guess I didn't see one of the meteorite heads coming towards me, so I died. I made the full meteorite set, but I didn't have enough to make the space gun, so I went back to mine some more. I noticed an item called the cat license sold by the zoologist. Having pets are nice, so I bought the license, and the next day, someone threw the cat right out of the sky. On day 16, I went to do more fishing quests. After completing it, I got a tartar sauce that summoned a mini minotaur. Afterwards, I went back down to find some more life crystals, but while I was doing that, I stumbled upon the Goblin Tinkerer, so I bought the rocket boots and Tinkerer workshop from him. I found 4 life crystals and then a gold chest that had some traps wired to it. With my hunter's potion still active, I was able to see traps around me. I destroyed the dynamite and also some boulders above, but as soon as I opened the chest, I blew up. I thought I got rid of all the dynamite, but I guess not. If you guys know what happened, let me know in the comment section. On day 18, the traveling merchant arrived and was selling the Grey Zapinator. I remember a few people saying it was a good weapon to use, so I bought it. Afterwards, I built another house for more NPCs to spawn. I needed some more gold, so I fought the Eye of Cthulhu again at night. On day 19, I went back to the jungle and found my last life crystal. I then summoned the King Slime for a chance to get the slime mount. I was gonna fight Skeletron soon, so having the slime mount will be really useful. Luckily, I got it on my first kill. On day 20, I started to make an arena at the dungeon for the Skeletron boss fight. I also placed some heart lanterns and campfires as well to boost my life regen. I didn't know what else to do, so I just did another fishing quest while I waited for night to fall. After completing the quest, I did get the bunny mount, so that was pretty cool. I didn't know what else to do, so I just waited and waited and waited. Yeah. I now know why the Zapinator is such a good weapon. I was almost able to two-shot one hand. After defeating Skeletron, I did my usual. I went down to the dungeon and collected the water candles, and I also found the cobalt shield. I made another house, so that was fun. I also added a chimney to make things more cozier. I did some more fishing. Nothing really more to say here. On day 22, I went down hell and mined some hellstone to make the imp staff. Afterwards, I prepared for the wall of flesh, so I made a really long bridge. I honestly thought this boss fight was going to be really easy, but I underestimated it. It went pretty well, and I got it to less than a quarter of its health, but the lasers it shot were so fast and also very frequent, so I ended up dying. On days 24 to 35, I tried killing wall of flesh again and again and again, but it just didn't happen. I've never had this much trouble with this boss, ever. I decided to take a break from fighting it, so back at home I bought the dog license. I also went to the ocean to find some black ink to make my vanity set. I was tired of having to go down to find some obsidian, so I made my own obsidian generator. On day 37, I went back to hell to mine some more hellstone. I wasn't really sure what was on my mind at that time, but I made the full molten armor set, but I never really used it. On day 38, I placed some campfires down along the path since it was about time to fight the wall of flesh again. I'd say I got really lucky since my Zappinator did over 1,000 damage a couple times. After the wall of flesh, I went to the corruption biome to break some altars. I broke a few and a lot of wraiths started piling up on me. I harvested my farm for materials to make potions because I will be needing a lot for this difficulty. After the altars were broken, I went underground and mined some of the new ores. I made a palladium pickaxe and went back down only to be greeted by a corrupt mimic. After that, I mined some mithril and some more palladium. I also found the wizard as well. I found a hollowed mimic, so I decided to fight it since I was in an open space. After it died, it dropped the Daedalus Stormbow. It took over 10 tries in my last 100 days video. After I got back, I made a mithril pickaxe, and then another house for my wizard to live in. On days 41 to 48, I noticed the corruption was spreading really close to my house, so I decided to cut it off. And then I spent the rest of the time mining. After I got back up, I made the full palladium armor set. I wasn't sure if I wanted to make the mithril or the titanium armor set yet, so I just held off for now. And what do you know, more fishing. On day 50, I killed some unicorns for their horns to make some holy arrows, since I was going to fight the destroyer pretty soon. I went into the jungle and got some honey and also made a platform in the sky. Then we waited for night to fall. My life regen was actually so crazy. I had the honey, campfire, heart lantern, band of rejuvenation, life regen potion, and even the palladium armor set effect that also gave life regen. I managed to kill a destroyer on the first try, so I was pretty happy about that. After obtaining some souls of might, I went to the ocean to kill some sharks for the shark fins to make the mega shark. On day 51, I farmed some crystal shards to make crystal bullets. I also wanted to kill the destroyer again, but somehow it was able to reach me. I found a pyramid beneath the desert, hoping to find a sandstorm in a bottle or the flying carpet, but I ended up getting pharaoh robes. On day 52, I killed more unicorns since I ran out of holy arrows, and then I fought the destroyer again, but this time I was successful. Now I had enough hollowed bars to make the full armor set that lets me dodge an attack and grants me invincibility for a short period of time. I needed some wings, so on day 53 I went up into the sky and killed some wyverns for souls of flight. I had plenty of fairy dust, so I made fairy wings. On day 55, I wanted the ranger emblem to make my mega shark stronger, so I killed the wall of flesh again. I was going to try and do some fishing in the ocean to find out what other fish I could get, but I found an ice golem and I wanted to kill it, but it froze me and then I died. I finally made it to the ocean and I wanted to make a little hut, but I got interrupted by a solar eclipse. These guys were easy to handle, but they had a lot of health. After the eclipse, I did more fishing. I was ready to fight the twins now, so I extended the platform in the sky. When night arrived, I summoned the boss. Like always, I aimed the green one first, and then the red. have Souls of Sight. All I need to do now is kill Skeletron Prime. So I farmed some Souls of Night and Light in Hell. When I came back up though, pirates invaded me to try and steal my booty.
The name of the ship was the Belly of Tea. The winds blew hard, her bow dipped down. Oh, blow me, bully boys, blow. Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. She had not been 2 weeks from shore when down on her a right whale bore. The captain called all hands and swore he'd take that whale in tow.
At night, I made the mechanical skull and got ready for the fight. I honestly thought I was going to kill it the first try, but I wasn't paying attention to the laser hands that locked onto me. I spent days 58 to 61 killing unicorns because I really wanted the unicorn mount since it was a lot faster than the horse mount that I bought from the zoologist. It didn't seem like it was going to drop anytime soon, so I just went back home and made some potions. On day 62 to 67, I went back into the dungeon to kill skeletons for bones to make another mechanical skull. I also attempted Skeletron Prime a couple more times, but I died over and over again. I had my Cobalt Shield equipped, but somehow I was still getting knocked back. Maybe this was a new feature in Master Mode, I don't know. Anyways, I did run out of materials again, so I spent days 68 to 72 farming some more. I ran into a corrupt mimic, so I made my way into hell to make fighting it a lot easier. After killing it, it dropped the chained guillotine, which I didn't find really useful. I figured maybe running along the platform wasn't the plan, so I drank a gravitation potion instead, and it made all the difference. Nearing the end, it got pretty scary since the wyvern started attacking me too. It also killed the nurse, so I had to be a lot more careful and dodge better. Now I have the 3 souls to make the pickaxe axe to start mining some chlorophyte in the jungle. From days 73 to 82, I spent the entire time mining chlorophyte, and I also searched for light fruits to increase my max health to 500. The monsters in the jungle were pretty strong and also very annoying, especially the green hornets that can poison you. On day 88, I forgot I mined a gelatin crystal from before, so I summoned the queen slime. I had to summon her in the hollowed biome first and then drag her to my platform to make fighting her easier. She summoned a lot of slimes and even ones that could fly. I got this slime mount from her that could fly, which is an upgrade from the king slime's mount. On days 84 to 87, I fished at the ocean. I got new fish and other critters like trout and shrimp. It also seemed like getting crates were a lot more common. I then went back into hell and got some more crystal shards for crystal bullets. I also killed the wall of flesh once again because why not? On days 88 to 90, I found a Plantera bulb in the jungle, so I started clearing out an area to make an arena for it. I made enough space to be able to wrap around it, and also just the one layer platform is enough. When I finished, I broke the Plantera bulb to start the fight. Using the queen slime mount was really useful since the jumping and falling speed is fast enough to dodge the petals that Plantera shot out. After killing Plantera, I can now access the temple with a key, but I didn't want to do it just yet, because I wanted better armor and weapons, so on day 91 to 98, I went back in the dungeon because new monsters now spawn in there that can drop really good weapons and accessories. While I was farming, I got shot by an Inferno Mage, so I teleported back home, but I burned to death. After arriving back at the dungeon, a solar eclipse started, so I had to go back home. Now that I have better weapons, things were much more easier. I killed 2 Mothrons and got an Eye of Cthulhu yo-yo, as well as the Broken Arrow sword. So, we've reached 100 days in Terraria, so I'm gonna have to stop here. I honestly thought I could have beat the game within the time frame, but I guess I spent too much time building and fishing. And the fact that bosses are a lot harder now. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want me to do 200 days in Terraria, leave a like and also comment below. If you guys like the content, consider subscribing as well. I'm Necro and I'm out. Peace.